the Casey studio at WETA. Students from Dominion, St. Albans, and National Cathedral meet today on It's Academic. I'm Hillary Howard. Welcome to It's Academic, the world's longest-running TV quiz show, now in its 65th season, produced by Altman Productions and the great WETA.
Support for It's Academic has been provided by the following: George Mason University, all together different.
Call us different.
Different in where we come from,
Where we're going,
and how we think.
but the same in our dreams for tomorrow.
Driven by the pull of possibility.
To inspire,
To think fearlessly. To protect and to heal the planet. We know the world will change.
together.
We will be the ones to change it.
Call Mason different. All
Together different.
We are so happy that you've joined us for It's Academic. And if you watch us often, you know that we start with the fast start teams. You know this. In this round, questions are worth 10 points up or down. First team to buzz in gets to answer. And the students don't see what you do on the screens at home in this round. Teams, 5-letter names. Please identify the following famous persons whose last names have only 5 letters. This WNBA star plays for the Indiana St. Albans.
Caitlin Clark.
Yeah, this author's work includes The Cat in the Hat. Yup, Cathedral.
Seuss.
Yeah, he was the 44th president of the United St. Albans.
Obama.
That's right, this French composer wrote the opera Carmen. St. Albans.
Bizet.
Yeah, this abolitionist had the first name Sojourner, St. Albans.
Truth.
Yes, he played Captain America in 11, St. Albans.
Evans.
Yeah, she was appointed to the Supreme Court right after Sonia Sotomayor. Albans.
Kagan.
That's it. This French impressionist often painted ballet dancer, St. Albans.
Degas.
Degas is right. He and James Watson discovered the double helix structure of DNA, St. Albans.
Crick.
Yes, she wrote Uncle Tom's Cabin, St. Albans.
Stowe.
So aren't you going to let anybody else play? That does it for our fast start. Let's recap those scores. Dominion, home of the Titans, 100 points. St. Albans, home of the Bulldogs, 190. And their sister school, National Cathedral School, home of the Eagles, 110 points. Let's meet these teams before we go into the mix and match round. We begin with Dominion in Sterling, Virginia. Roshan, how you doing?
Good. My name is Roshan. I'm a sophomore at Dominion, and in my free time, I'm on my school's debate team.
Wonderful. Hello, Evie.
Hi, my name's Evie. I'm a junior at Dominion High School, and in my free time, I love to do Taekwondo.
Oh, that's good. I should have you as my protection. Hello, Elliot.
Hi, I'm Elliot. I'm a freshman at Dominion, and I'm in the marching band.
Very good. Guys, here are your questions. They're worth 20 points, nothing off for a wrong answer. Strip olive trees. You can get rid of this destructive sentence by finding within it the hidden name of what capital of Libya?
Tripoli.
Yes. Curmudgeon, cherub, centenarian. Which of these words best describes someone who is always ill-tempered?
Curmudgeon.
Correct. Kit Blank, Rachel Blank. What same name is shared by an American frontier scout and the environmentalist author of Silent Spring?
Smith.
Nah, Carson. These are the old Norse words for what animal who raised the fictional boy Mowgli in Kipling's story?
Gray wolf.
Yeah, wolf. Pterosaur, ptarmigan, Tyolin. Of these 3 words that start with PT, which one identifies as still living species of bird noted for its flight speed?
Ptarmigan.
Yeah, ptarmigan. I saw one in Alaska. The ducks were not happy. This was the comment of a duck herder after keeping his ducks penned up to prevent the spread of avian flu in what Asian country whose capital is Bangkok?
Thailand.
Yeah. And that does it for your Mix and Match Dominion 200 points. Now to St. Albans School here in Washington, D.C. Hello, Kieran.
Hi, my name is Kieran. I'm a senior, and I enjoy watching Jeopardy with my parents.
Oh, very good. So you should be very prepared for this game, of course. Arjun, hi.
Hi, I'm Arjun. I'm a senior at St. Albans School, and I love hiking in my free time.
Wonderful. Matthew, tell us about yourself.
Hi, I'm Matthew, and I do swimming and rowing for my school.
All right, guys. I laughed or I cried. You won't have to cry if you can find in this sentence what type of ancient Greek column architecture, simpler than Ionic or Corinthian.
Doric?
Yes. Policeman, pharmacist, chef. If you were playing the apothecary in Romeo and Juliet, you'd be portraying a man whose work was similar to which of these?
Pharmacist?
Yeah. Leif blank, John blank. What same last name was shared by Leif, the Norse explorer, and John, the Civil War designer of the ironclad ship Monitor?
Ericsson?
Yes, again. These are the French and Greek words for what wise bird sacred to the goddess Athena?
Owl?
Owl's right. Isolationism, bimetallism, impressment. Which of these words identifies a British Navy practice that was one of the causes of the world of 1812?
Impressment?
Yes. Sharks eat smaller fish. This biting proverb comes from what African country where Luanda is the capital?
Angola?
You've got it again. Nice job, St. Albans. 310 points. And now to National Cathedral School. And first we get to greet Jane. Hiya, Jane.
Hi, I'm Jane. I'm a junior and I do dance and theater.
Lovely. Chloe.
Hi, I'm Chloe. I'm a senior at National Cathedral. I play the violin and viola, and I also play field hockey.
All righty. And Babiha.
Hi, I'm Babiha. I'm a senior at National Cathedral School, and I like to kayak in my free time.
Very nice. Ladies? Ravioli, macaroni, pizza. Hidden in this list of foods is the name of what capital of Peru?
Lima?
Yes. False, coherent, forceful. If someone were using spurious arguments, which of these words would best describe his reasoning?
Forceful?
No, false. Jim blank, Matthew blank. What same name is shared by the creator of The Muppets and the African-American who, with Robert Peary, was the first to reach the North Pole?
Henson?
Yes. These are the Korean and Russian words for what large animal that in a story Androcles helped by removing a thorn from its paw?
Lion?
Lion's right. Corsica, Java, Aruba. Which of these islands is part of Indonesia?
Java?
Java's it. Those who drink to drown their sorrows forget sorrow knows how to swim. This insightful proverb comes from what Caribbean country whose capital is Port-au-Prince?
Haiti?
Haiti is right. Nicely done. National Cathedral, 210 points. That does it for Mix and Match. We have the Picture Perfect round next. See you in a minute.
In 1961, 9 high school students walked into a TV studio in Washington, D.C. to film the very first episode of It's Academic.
Good evening and welcome to It's Academic, the weekly program on which
Little did they know that over the course of the next 65 years, thousands of high school students would follow them onto the set and into broadcast history.
I think what has kept It's Academic on the air for so long, you had strong support from the schools, and we've had a strong community support.
There aren't a ton of outlets to be competitive in an academic setting.
It teaches composure, knowledge, wisdom.
And it's like an engaging, fun quiz show, but it also teaches you so much about the world in so many different facets.
Today, It's Academic is celebrating 65 years and is the world's longest-running TV quiz show. Thank you, students, schools, viewers, and fans. And remember, it's academic.
And now we have a question for you. Crystal City, Texas has a statue of what cartoon character? The answer is, and we don't know why, Popeye. Now back to the show. So we've collected all these pictures for the Picture Perfect round. You guys know questions are worth 20 points up or down. Once again, the first team to buzz in gets to answer. This soldier belonged to a unit honored by the French government for heroism in what war? Fought in the second decade, St. Albans?
World War I.
Yeah, nicely done. The Battle of Hastings is depicted in this section of what embroidered, St. Albans?
Biotapestry.
Yes. We Shall Overcome, the anthem of the civil rights movement, was quoted in a major speech by what 36th president who signed the 1964 Civil Rights Act? Yes, National Cathedral.
Lyndon B. Johnson?
Yeah, that's it. Solve for X. Anybody ready to buzz? St. Albans. 6 is right. Nice. These tourists are speeding through the waters near Bridgetown, capital of what Caribbean?
Barbados.
Barbados is right. St. Albans. Tetrakis hydroxymethylphosphonium chloride, sometimes abbreviated THPC. This compound is made from phosphine, formaldehyde, and what acid whose formula is HCl? Yes, St. Albans.
Hydrochloric.
Correct. Over the centuries, several different countries have flown their flags over what present-day Latvian capital? Yes, St. Albans.
Riga.
Riga's right. These formations in Arizona's Monument Valley share their name with what items of clothing lost by the 3 little kittens in a nursery rhyme? Yep, National Cathedral.
Mittens.
Mittens, that is absolutely right, and that does it for Picture Perfect. Let's recap the scores. Dominion, 200 points. St. Albans, 430 points. National Cathedral, 250 points. And now it's time to meet the coaches. We begin with Dominion, home of the Titans. Who's behind you, Evie?
We have with us today our principal, Dr. Brewer, and also our amazing coach, Miss Gilman, who's also a science teacher.
Yeah, what's good about him?
Well, Dr. Brewer has always been super friendly with the students, and Miss Gilman has just been an amazing coach. All my years here at Dominion, she's always been warm and welcoming to everyone.
Wonderful. It's great to have you guys. And to St. Albans, Arjun, who's standing directly behind you.
With us here today is Mr. Cease, our librarian, who's also our It's Academic coach, and we'd like to thank him for his preparation and help in helping us prepare for the event today.
All right, wonderful. Really good to have you here. And over to National Cathedral, Chloe.
Here with us today is our coach, Mr. White, and I would also like to thank our alternate, Alma. They're both so helpful, and we're really grateful to both of them for coming out and supporting us today.
All right, beautiful. We're really grateful that all of you showed up. Thank you so much. I love when we introduce the coaches. And now, of course, we get to begin the packet round. Dominion, you answer questions first. St. Albans, you choose what packet they answer questions from.
2.
2. Questions are worth 20 points, nothing off for a wrong answer. And if you get all the questions right, there is a 25-point bonus. Dominion. The word nebula comes from the Latin word for what natural phenomena that can be cumulus or nimbus?
Cloud.
Yeah. In 1893, New Zealand granted women what right later guaranteed in this country by the 19th Amendment?
To vote.
Yes. After Vasco da Gama charted a water route to the east, a lucrative spice trade developed in what city, now the capital of Portugal?
Lisbon.
Beautiful, Lisbon. Yes, here's your science question. Fluorine, nitrogen, radon. Some substances will burn in an atmosphere containing only which of these gases that's even more reactive than oxygen?
Nitrogen?
Nah, it's fluorine. After reading Darwin's Origin of Species, what Russian seminary student turned to science and began investigating conditioned reflexes in dogs?
Oh, wait, Pavlov?
Yeah. More than 100,000 people lined the streets in 1881 to witness the funeral procession of what Russian author whose works include Crime and Punishment?
Oh, I think Tolstoy?
Dostoevsky. Here's your math question. Evaluate this expression, giving your answer as a positive integer.
36. 12 times 3.
Answer, guys?
36.
Yeah, you've got it. Just weeks after Santa Anna captured the Alamo, Santa Anna was himself captured at what battle in Texas?
He just said Alamo.
San Jacinto, but that was good. Dominion, home of the Titans, 300 points. Over to St. Albans National Cathedral. What will your partners over there at the school? Because your sister or brother, yeah. Okay, packet 1 or packet 3?
We'll give them 3.
3. All right. Let's see how they do with 3. Guys. What name, derived from an old word for foot soldier, is applied to the most numerous pieces on a chessboard?
Pawn.
Pawn is right. Japan is the land of the rising sun, but Sun Yat-sen was an early 20th century leader in what other Asian country noted for its huge population?
China.
Yes. Pershing pursues Pancho might be a chapter in a biography of General Pershing as he attempted to capture what Mexican revolutionary bandit?
Pancho Villa.
Pancho Villa is correct. Here's your science question. Ethanol, thyroxine, hydrogen chloride. Which of these chemical compounds is not organic?
Hydrogen chloride.
Yeah. Martin Van Buren, who twice ran for the presidency as a Democrat, ran a 3rd time as the candidate of what party whose 2-word name suggests giving away dirt at no cost?
Free soil.
Yeah. In Frank McCourt's best-selling memoir, Angela's Ashes, most of the action takes place in an Irish town whose name identifies what type of 5-line humorous verse?
Limerick.
Yep, it's right. Here's your math question. What is the next number in this sequence?
96.
It is 96. Though still a widely read newspaper, the New York Post is no longer owned by the family of what white abolitionist who had published The Liberator?
William Lloyd Garrison.
William Lloyd Garrison is right. 25-point bonus for St. Albans. All right, they did okay with packet number 3. Here we go, guys. The science of campanology doesn't deal with camping, but with the study of what ringing object found in church towers?
Bells?
Yeah. In Ian Fleming's novel, You Only Live Twice, James Bond is temporarily assigned the number 7777 instead of what other number more closely identified with him?
007.
007, Shaken, not stirred. Sorry. The phrase middle passage referred to part of the journey involving slaves, rum, and molasses in what trade named for a geometric figure?
Triangle?
Yeah, the triangle trade. Here's your science question. Solution, suspension, emulsion. Which of these terms refers to a mixture of tiny solid particles dispersed in a liquid which will settle on standing?
Suspension?
Yes. Pope Innocent III was also the feudal overlord of what medieval Spanish kingdom that eventually merged with Castile? It is Aragon. Gabriel Grubb was a grubby gravedigger created by what novelist who later invented the miserly Ebenezer Scrooge in A Christmas Carol?
Dickens?
Yes. Here's your math question. What is the positive value of x in this equation?
10.
You've got it right. What 19th century Italian patriot and soldier led 1,000 volunteers called the Red Shirts in an effort to unify and liberate Italy? The answer is Garibaldi. Nicely done, National Cathedral, 370 points. That does it for the packet round, and we have the grab bag next, so please stay with us. It's Academic has been on the air for 65 years. And over the decades, we've showcased thousands of high school students from all over the D.C. area. Today, It's Academic continues to celebrate education and remains a critical part of WETA's mission-focused programming. With the recent loss of federal funding for public media, we need your help now more than ever to support It's Academic. Please make a donation and become a friend of It's Academic today and help keep It's Academic on the air and streaming for our students and their futures. We've done it. We've reached the grab bag. Teams in this round, questions are worth 20 points up or down. Once again, the first team to buzz in gets to answer. And before we dive into these questions, we're going to recap the scores. Dominion, 300 points. St. Albans, 615 points. National Cathedral, 370 points. And now we can begin. Guys, in Victorian England, postmasters were allowed to refuse envelopes that were of what color traditional of Valentine hearts? Yep, National Cathedral.
Red?
Yeah. The Constitution's lame duck amendment has what same number as the January date cathedral? 20. Very good. Choice. Is 1 coulomb per second equal to 1 volt, ampere, or ohm? Anybody? Yeah, Dominion.
Volt.
No, ampere. On your screens. This self-portrait is by what renowned 17th century Dutch painter whose last name was St. Albans?
Rembrandt?
Yes. Lots of music is colorful, but George Gershwin wrote a rhapsody in what particular St. Albans?
Blue.
Blue is right. What is the area of a square whose perimeter is 36 inches? Cathedral?
36.
No, 81. The home of John Neville, a Pennsylvania tax official, was burned by a mob during what 1794 uprising with an alcoholic name? St. Albans.
Whiskey.
Whiskey Rebellion, yeah. On your screens. Soft words, butter no, turnips, but they won't harden the heart of the cabbage either. This tasty proverb comes from what country? Home to poet William Butler Yeats. Yep, St. Albans. Ireland it is. What composer gave a London hospital the original score of his greatest work, The Messiah? Yep, St. Albans.
Handel?
Yeah. Choice. The total angular momentum of the solar system is increasing, decreasing, or
Increasing.
No, it's constant, St. Albans. It's no secret that the Secret Service is now part of what newest cabinet department established after the 9/11 attacks? Yep, Dominion.
Department of Homeland Security.
You've got it on your screens. This is Union Navy Commander David Porter, whose Civil War flagship was named for what Native American chief, the father of Pocahontas? Yep, Cathedral.
Powhatan.
Yeah, that's it. In 1794, the guillotine claimed the life of what Frenchman nicknamed the Incorruptible, who had sent thousands to their deaths when he led the reign of, St. Albans.
Robespierre.
You've got it. Choice. If you saw Polaris at 90 degrees altitude, you'd be near the equator, North Pole, or South Pole. Anybody? It is the North Pole. You would find a pair of lovers named Yum Yum and Nanky Poo in what Gilbert and Sullivan operetta set in Japan? The answer is the Mikado on your screens. Cuba's Bay of Pigs was a military failure, but there's still a U.S. military base and prison in what other Cubans? Yes, Dominion.
Guantanamo.
Yeah, that's it, Guantanamo Bay. 2016 saw the publication of Dragon Teeth, a novel by what now deceased author of Jurassic Park, and the answer was Michael Crichton. All right, that does it for the game. We're going to have those official scores in one moment, so stick around.
Did you know there are 1 million ants for each human on Earth? Now you know.
I'm Hillary Howard, host of It's Academic, and I've got a question for you. What's a new and easy way to watch all of your favorite PBS and WETA shows? The answer is WETA Plus. That's right. WETA Plus is a free and easy-to-use streaming service created specifically for DC area viewers like you. With WETA Plus, you can watch local shows like It's Academic or PBS hits like Masterpiece, wherever and wherever you want, on your TV or on the go. WETA Plus is free and available to download on all major streaming devices and smart TVs. For more information, go to weta.org/WETA Plus. The scores are now official. We begin with Dominion High School, home of the Titans in Sterling, Virginia. Roshan, Evie, and Elliot, 320 points. From National Cathedral School here in D.C., Jane, Chloe, Babiha, 410 points. And both of these teams know a lot, by the way. It's just that St. Albans was really fast and really good. Kieran, Arjun, Matthew, 715 points. Way to go, guys. We are so happy that you were here with us today. Can't wait to see you next time. I'm Hillary Howard. Remember, everybody, it's academic. Bye. See ya.
Support for It's Academic has been provided by the following: George Mason University, all together different.
Call us different.
Different in where we come from,
Where we're going,
and how we think.
but the same in our dreams for tomorrow.
Driven by the pull of possibility.
To inspire,
To think fearlessly. To protect and to heal the planet. We know the world will change.
together.
We will be the ones to change it.
Call Mason different. All
Together different.